Hello everybody and welcome, my name is Gary Benton10, and today here on this exciting Yu-Gi-Oh video, there is an airplane because our hotel is right next to an airport and it's really terrible to try and go to sleep, which is why we're still awake. And here we are bringing you a recap for my friend Cody and my friend Chris, who were my two teammates for the YCS Atlanta 3v3 tournament. They're going to be giving you guys their recap. My recap will be tomorrow and I'll go into depth about what I played and all that stuff. But this is all about them and their experience at the YCS Atlanta 3v3 tournament. This is all three of our first YCS. And yeah, so guys, thank you for letting me record with you guys at like 11 p.m. But
no problem.
What did you guys think about when we first got to Atlanta?
Intimidating. 100% intimidating. More people than I had ever seen. Even our regionals in our area is not nearly a quarter of the size of what Atlanta was.
When I first saw that duel, where we all were going to duel, how big the room was going to be, it was breathtaking.
Yeah, it was pretty like about twice the size of our school gymnasium, or 4 times the size.
Yeah, I mean they said there was over 500 teams signed up, which was over 1,600 players.
And like that's just amazing. And so we showed up right as about 2 hours before pre-registration started on Friday.
There was already a ton of people there waiting, like crazy.
And there's a lot of good trading going around. I actually found a couple of cards I was looking for because I'm a number collector, and I basically doubled my collection, almost tripled going there.
Yep, and I was looking for a couple cards for a couple decks, and I ended up finding pretty much everything I needed, which was really nice.
Nice.
And not to mention that the guys were super reasonable with their prices and trades.
Yeah, we didn't run into. We ran into that one guy who was like trying to.
He was trying to shark some things from us and get it for too low of a price, and then at the prices he was offering or trade value, it just wasn't even a good idea at all.
Oh, and that Wing Dragon Raw I had in my deck, we found out it was $16 when we thought it was $4.
And then so the doors open to go to pre-register, and
Everyone rushes in.
Everyone rushes in.
And then they quickly realize you have to fill out another form,
Yep.
the registration form, and there's a lot of players who didn't have their deck list filled out. We were smart enough to have our deck list filled out beforehand, so we just had to fill out the one form. We were able to go and get pre-registered, get our packs, our dice, and our mats, which was all really cool. Everyone that we talked to was pretty much really cool. All the judges and the staff were like super nice and helpful.
Didn't run into any players any bad players in our matches. It was all cool and chill. Really enjoyed our experience there.
And then the vendors. How are the vendors?
I would have to say that all the prices were quite reasonable. The expensive cards were up there, but they had $1 binders.
Even the expensive ones they were listing them at reasonable prices.
Yeah.
Like what was it? In permanences, they were listing for about 85, somewhere around there, which is fairly reasonable, especially to pick up at an event that you could potentially be playing it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like 34 for the trap tricks trap card.
And then they had a wide selection between cards and accessories like mats and deck boxes and sleeves. I couldn't tell you how many different types of sleeves each vendor probably had. And the best part was they were all right there, so you could compare prices really fast and really efficiently. There was several you're like, okay, that card's definitely too high, and you're just like, okay, and you walk down the next vendor and you find it for like $3 cheaper.
Yeah, and then they'd haggle with you. Some of them did.
Yeah, like I tried to convince. I bought Yesterday, for some reason, I decided I want to build Sky Strikers. And I have no Sky Striker stuff at all, nothing. So I pieced most of the core together, including the extra deck, for like $20, just from the vendors alone. And then I was like, okay, I need widow anchors and engages, and so I went looking, and I looked on TCG Player, and then saw engages were going for about 40. And I went to the first vendor, and he had them for 46 a piece. So I told him, so I just asked, if I buy 3, will you do 40 a piece? And he said no. And I went down the next vendor, they had them for 45. They said no. I walked all the way down the last vendor, and they had them listed for 40. And I was like, I want 3 of those right now. Yeah. But before I changed my mind and spending $40 a piece, which is last time I looked those up, which was months ago, they were 80. So in my mind, they're always 80.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna buy them now. And so somehow I'm going home with the whole Sky Striker deck that I didn't intend to go home with.
And the best part for me though was if you didn't have the money for all the big expensive cards that they had out on display, they had a bunch of binders that were $1 cards. And you think, well, $1 cards aren't that good, but I actually found a bunch of stuff I was looking for.
Oh yeah, most of the Sky Striker core was all in there.
Yeah.
Like besides afterburners, multi-roll, engages, and the widow anchors, I mean, you got everything else for like $15. So I mean, it was really cheap, and there was a wide selection. They had all of them labeled. They're all sort of between spells, monsters, and extra decks. So if you're looking for something specific, you knew which binders to look in.
You wouldn't have to go hunting for it.
And then, so we go, and one of the vendors set a sign saying 3v3 tournament tonight, Friday night, and if you guys want to go practice, so show up there. And
this is at 7:30 at night.
It's 7:30 at night.
7:30 at night.
And the night before the YCS.
30 minutes away from our hotel.
Yep.
Yeah. We're dumb enough that we want to stay up that late.
Yep.
And go to this event, which it turns out it was a pretty good event. We got there around 7.
Yeah.
7, and we get there and they're like, yeah, we're gonna push it back till 8. So now we're thinking, okay, do we really want to stay here now? And we just decided, we're here, we might as well. We got nothing else going on.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, we got to look around their shop, and they had some pretty good sleeves, deck boxes from Japan.
It was a good space. It was set up nicely. They had video games set up that you could play around. They had plenty of tables and space for a 3v3 for what they're trying to do. They had optimal space, and they had a good selection of merchandise.
And they had this little display. They had 2 cards that I don't know if it was the manager that did it, but they took like 6 or 7 cards and cut it out and made it look like it was popping out. And I thought that was pretty cool. Even though you probably couldn't use it, it was still pretty interesting.
Then our first round, we'll probably just let Gara talk about that.
First round was my favorite.
Yeah, he was pretty excited about that.
I fanboyed a little bit.
In that first round, I was playing Danger for Hires because we just took like our kind of fun decks for that night.
Yeah.
Just because just to give ourselves a break from the meta we've been playing.
And I actually brought my deck that I was going to play in the YCS because I only started playing 2 months ago.
What deck was that?
Great Machi.
Yeah.
Yep, and I get paired with a Sky Striker player first round at this little locals, and I blind second, and he flips. He sets one and pretty much flips. There can only be one, and at that I chuckled a little bit, and I was like, okay. And if you guys know for hires, they're like all different. And I'm playing Dangers, which are all different. Needless to say, I still lost.
All right, and so day one comes around. We stayed up till like midnight, 1 a.m.
Oh yeah.
playing in that game
Maybe
tournament.
not 3 hours of sleep.
We show up day one, and first round we get paired up. We go find our table. What are you guys thinking? First round, first major event. Cody, you've been to a regional. Chris, start playing again 2 months ago.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind at this point?
Just focus and don't brick. And as soon as we started playing, I realized very quickly I brought the completely wrong build of my deck.
What were you playing?
I was playing Solomon Grades. And I had my deck still set up for more of my local events, and I should have played more into the meta.
I actually didn't really think that much. You can guess what the grandma dreams.
Yeah.
But I just went and had fun. I didn't really try to tense up, just went with the flow. And it's kind of funny of all the reactions we got with my deck, because I'd open up with a Luna and they'd be guessing, okay, he's got a Luna. Then I'd bounce their cards back, and then they'd be like, I hope he doesn't have a Battle Fader next turn. And then they attack and I Battle Fader, and then next turn I end, and then they attack again and I Battle Fader again.
In all our matches, all of us were more interested in Chris's match than our own, because it was so much more interesting and so hilarious to watch these teams try to guess what he was playing, because they had no idea, because it's not meta, it's not even a good rogue strategy, it's just baffling.
Because all they say is me banishing and summoning a kaiju every now and then.
We played Team G Sport, second round, right?
I think so, yeah.
Second round. And we had them so confused because Chris run the dice roll and he said he was going to go second. So they sat there and guessed before time started
Listing all these
what he was playing, what they would think he would be going second in.
They were saying like Danger Orcus, like just so many random decks. It was.
We just kept telling them, no, it's not that.
Yep.
It's not that.
Nope. And then
They, even after game one, they still didn't really know what he was playing.
Because I never went into Grand Maju.
after game one, they were like, oh man, he's got to be playing like Psy frames. And like his opponent just said, like, I think he played Threatening Roar, and then his opponent was just like, man, he's playing Threatening Roar. Like, what? And then he goes into his next turn, Chris like Kaiju something, and then his following turn, he's like, I have game in my hand on board. He turns to his teammate, should I be worried about a Battle Fader? He's playing Threatening Roar. And he goes, and his teammates are like, no, he's not playing Battle Fader. And then he goes, he makes his board, and then Chris just slams down Battle Fader. And then next turn, they're like, no, you can't have a second one. Boom, second Battle Fader.
Definitely wasn't the best deck to play, but it baffled so many people.
But it turned out that I was the one who was carrying the entire team.
Yep.
Spoiler alert for my video tomorrow, but yeah, that was.
I pretty much bricked every game. Somehow I bricked. I don't know how you bricked when you can do pretty much anything with 2 cards.
So that's your lesson for the day, kids. When in doubt, go with the Grand Majin and attack the game.
Did it help at all playing next to your friends?
Oh, 100%.
Definitely.
It helps with just trying to find where your table is and just communicating to your opponent. You kind of all have a group discussion, and it's kind of all just a big fun time. And it's just really nice, and you get to see how the other team interacts with each other,
Yeah.
and you get to learn why they chose their partners and where they're from, and kind of what their choices coming in. And everyone was super friendly and giving advice to us, especially the people who have done YCSs a bunch. They were super helpful on advice and giving us more tips on what to do and what not to do.
Because I believe, Gara, you said at one point there's so many rumors about YCS being full of rule sharks and bad players, just grumpy players, but
All the bad stereotypes, yeah.
But when we got there, we were pleasantly surprised. It was a very fun and friendly.
Pretty much anyone we interacted with was really friendly and nice, and it just felt like a wholesome atmosphere really throughout the entire event.
All right, so day one, we don't do so hot. We drop after round 6 out of 7 rounds for the day, just because there's no way we were making it to day 2.
No.
Day 2, we're kind of waking up. We're like, yeah, we're going to play some side events. It's going to be great. And so talk to me about that experience.
So we entered a regional. Yeah. I go in, and I've changed my deck over from day 1. I've changed it day 2 to more of a scythe build. And in the first match I play is True Draco, which is terribly unfortunate because I just changed my deck over to scythe. And now it's just not worth it. Mm-hmm. And I had played a True Draco player the day before, but he bricked terribly and I just OTK'd him both times. That was not the case this time. I bricked pretty hard. He flipped, could only be 1 on me, which is terrible. I had the out with Foxy and no cards on field, and as soon as I did that, he flipped a second one. And I was able, the best I could do was I had a wolf. I flipped Sanctuary just to get the Fairy Scythe out, and I had to normal summon my Effect Veiler for a Spellcaster and make a Borolo Dragon to attack over stuff, just to have a big enough monster to hit over the True Draco stuff. Mm-hmm. And after that, he countered it. I couldn't do anything else after that, and I had to scrub out after round 1.
Yeah, I believe I played against the Subterrors.
Yep.
That was actually a pretty fun deck to see how it progressed over the turns. Not really a good matchup against Grand Maju, because the more Terrors get their decks going, the more it's hard to beat them, and it takes a little while for Grand Maju to get going. So I unfortunately could not get over, I think it was like 3 or 2 gates, and he was just taking my monsters out one by one. But he was a very good opponent, and
Yeah, then after that we did the structure deck. That one was super fun.
Oh yeah.
Everyone just kind of has fun with it because the decks are total garbage. Which one did we play? Cyber's Link, I believe.
Yeah, it was the one with Trigate and some talker.
Encode talker.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because it just has the worst cards for the mirror match ever.
Well, for me, I kept drawing the right cards all the way to the end. I unfortunately I luckily got to the final match for the win, but at the very end, I was able to summon 2 monsters, and I would have won the next turn. And he had no monsters on the field, and he was top decking. But when he top decked, he got the perfect card, and which allowed him to get over my monster and win and steal it from me.
I got kicked out of that by being beat by him.
Yep.
Barely.
After beating me.
Me and Gar played a Winamat, which we both scrubbed out in round 1 again.
Yep.
I played a mirror match, and all throughout the event I learned that my deck is not set up very well for the mirror match. I even opened like Fusion of Fire most of my mirror matches, and I still couldn't get over their stuff.
And then we tried another structure deck duel, but unfortunately there was some miscommunication.
Somebody wasn't listening.
You apparently said Blue Eyes, and I had no clue there was a Blue Eyes structure deck.
Hey Gara, which one did you enter?
I entered the Blue Eyes one because I was part of the conversation where Chris was nodding his head up and down.
Anyways, I went back into the Cyber Slink and actually got to the third round. Oh, actually no, the first round, half the players didn't show up, so it went to the second round. I unfortunately lost that one, but I was able to make a deal with my opponent where if I would give him these tickets, which he could buy, use to trade in for prizes, he would give me the mat if he won. And he actually won, I think, 3 of the regional ones. So he was a pretty good player and knew how to work the decks.
What mat did you get off the trade?
I was able to get the Deco Tarker or
This transcode.
Transcode Talker mat for a started at Codebreaker. The only mat out of the 3 of us that we got that had link zones on it.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, during that match, when it went to the final match, at the very end, the opponent of the person I made the deal with, apparently he threw down his hand and then picked up his grave and put one of his cards in the grave. And at that point, it looked like he was scooping. So the other guy decided to put his cards on top of his deck and go to shuffle. But then he said, "Oh, you're scooping? Okay, that means I win because I won the first game." And it was a really bad situation. But although thankfully the judge came in and ruled as if he was able to put all the cards back, they'd continue where they started because he was obviously going to win because he had the more life points and was going to win next turn. But after that, he won that turn, and then they went into round 3 and he won again, and so he got the mat and we traded.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how day 2 went. A bunch of just scrubbing out. But I mean,
It was fun.
we didn't do any worse than what we kind of predicted.
Yeah.
For the week, but it was fun. Yeah, it was fun the entire time we were there. Not a lot of people got a lot of cards that that was just awesome. You know, I don't have to go look for them at locals or just buy them. Like they're just there.
Yeah.
Like anything is available. If you were looking for anything, you could have found it.
I got all the cards for us to finally make that Danger Trains.
Which we'll have a deck profile of that up at some point once we figure out how to make it good.
Yep.
But thank you both for letting me catch your reactions. I'm going to do deck profile of Cody's, both of his Salamangreat deck profiles probably, and then Chris's Grand Magi deck profile, and then my Thunder Dragons. And tomorrow you guys will see my thoughts on the event, my reaction, go a little more in depth to overall because they didn't want to spoil some of the kind of cool things, and I got some stuff to show off as well. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.